Okay, all. I'm getting our presentation set up here, so we'll get things going here in just a second. Right now, we have, I believe, three residents in the room. Um, we'll give people we'll give them another 2 minutes, and we'll get going. Dave, can you see my PowerPoint on the screen?
I can't. Oh.
Well, everyone, I don't want to keep everyone waiting. I know it's around dinner time, and we don't want to impact that too much for everyone. First of all, my name is Alan Pennington. I'm the city administrator's project engineer on the project. Um, and This project is the Brooksdale Road Reconstruction project. Um, the presentation is being recorded and will be shared with our public information office for them to post online for those that missed the meeting. The way we're going to do this, first here, we'll go through this slideshow presentation. If you have any questions, please place them in the chat box, which is in your lower right-hand corner of the thing. There's a bubble there with a quotation. Type your questions in the chat, and once we get done with the presentation, we'll be happy to go over any questions anyone may have. As far as the project team goes, I'd like to introduce Dave Swigger, our Mentor City engineer. He's there in the photo. He is going to be he is a city engineer, my supervisor, and he will be involved with the project. Ante Legarsic is our public information officer. He is not on tonight. However, he will be placing out public notices in the on the various social media platforms. Again, I'm our project engineer for the project, Alan Pennington. We also have with us tonight Eric Heibach for CT Consultants. He is one of the construction managers for the project, as well as Andrew Lubanovic. And Andrew will be the project construction manager. His name is in the letter that was sent to you, and he can be reached for questions or concerns you may have in regards to the project, as well as I can, as my direct dial number was also on that letter. Also on the project, we have Leong Tan from JTO Incorporated. He is the he's the project manager for the contractor, and he will have Dennis Young as his construction superintendent on site for this project. Again, we'll give Leong, Eric, and Andrew a chance to speak at the end of the presentation, as well as Dave Swigger if he would like to. But that is our project team. So as we get into this, you'll see this picture here. This is a very old picture of the headlands. What you see here is a photo aerial from September 23rd, 1937. You can see there in that photo, you can see the streets that were basically cow trails at that time, where houses, some dirt roads and maybe some gravel roads. And beginning in the 1930s, some of the homes started being developed in the Headlands area. Most of the homes in the headlands did go in the 1950s to where through present to where you see things as they are today out there. Um, in the early 70s, the streets were sewers were placed on the streets, and the streets were paved with asphalt. And today, you see the condition of some of those streets that were done from the 1970s. They've lasted a long time, but some of the issues we had with the streets were that the road was very flat, and with that caused some drainage issues and caused a lot of the failure that you see out there today. Another issue was the distance between the inlet basins that caused some issues with that drainage. But for its age, it's held up remarkably. Today is just a general picture of Brooksdale as you see it. You can see some of the general failures in the roadway. You're not going to see that for too long. We'll get through everything here, um, and you'll see a nicer roadway. This is just showing just some of the general heaving that you can see on the streets where the curbs tilted back and the roadway heaved up or rutted out adjacent to it, and it caused some of the failures that you all experience on a daily basis. I don't have to tell you what the condition of the road is currently. We all know what it is. The good thing is, this is what your road should look like when it's all said and done. You have nice curved streets, reseeded tree lawns, new aprons, new curbing, and a nice smooth ride that should last for years and years. Um, it'll come in with a roadway base and that sort of thing. Uh, but it's really a continuation of our projects. As you can see in the map here, don't know with my screen being shared whether that's in the way, but the overall Headlands street rehabilitation was involving 11 streets. Brooksdale is number 9 of 11. It's highlighted on the map, north-south. And then you have also highlighted on the map in yellow 2 other streets. You have Forest and you have Woodridge. Although those are not part of this project, just to give everyone in the meeting a heads up, uh, we will be bidding out in June for a late summer construction, the some fixing of the curbs and overlay of both Forest and Woodridge, similar to what we did on Wake Robin, Glen Lodge, Forest, and Maiden. So those streets will be bid and constructed later this year. But that kind of shows you where we're at in the process. So at the end of this year, we're going to be done in your neighborhood. All the streets have been reworked, and you'll have a nice, aesthetically pleasing neighborhood from the street standpoint that should last for years and years. For the Brooksdale project, we have over approximately 4,000 foot of roadway work that's going to be done, as well as some storm sewer work, some limited sanitary point repairs on the sanitary main with the sanitary lining, curb reconstruction and apron reconstruction. There are approximately 224 homes on the street with approximately 62 storm laterals that will be rebuilt. That's your storm line going from the storm main. If you're on the side of the street that doesn't have the storm sewer, the line will be run to your right-of-way line and will be reattached to its current location. Those are on the side of the street that the storm sewer is on. Your connection won't be impacted. It'll remain as it is, and we'll go on there. Good news for the project is there is no waterline work going on with this project, so that the timeline should not be impacted by that. So no water work is necessary. We'll go to the next slide here, and this, I know it's hard to read on the screen, but this is the preliminary timeline for the project. The first phase, the storm and sanitary work, will occur beginning in April and will run through June. And during this phase of construction, we will have the street having point repairs where the street or point locations where the street will be closed. Where if you're south of that point, you'll be able to access your property from the south. If you're north of that point, you'll be able to access your property from the north. And during this time, they'll be doing the sanitary point repairs. They'll be doing the storm sewer lateral reconstruction, getting all the underground stuff taken care of. Um, about half the time of the project is going to be involved with the sewer work. Now, when we get into the actual paving, that'll be later phase. We'll be sending out another letter to residents, kind of giving people an update when we go to switch to the paving phase, where we start installing the curbing and the drive aprons, and then the actual asphalt pavement. Um, Things that could delay the project, of course, are going to be weather. If we have a really wet summer, that could delay some of the things. Um, Unexpected utility conflicts could be something that could delay the project. On other streets, we've run into gas lines that have been too shallow, where the gas companies had to come in and relocate their gas services to the houses. Um, Now, one thing I will say is there will be times where you won't see a JTO crew working out on the site. That doesn't mean that they've abandoned the site or that the project's getting behind on schedule. There are times where certain deliveries of materials may need to occur, and they may have suspended the project temporarily for them to get those materials in. One of the other things you'll see is when we do pour the asphalt, or not the asphalt, but pour the concrete drive aprons and the curbing. There'll be time where it takes for that concrete to cure, and during that phase, they may suspend work. They may come in and do some restoration, that sort of thing. But there's a good chance that you may not see a crew out there after they've poured the concrete for uh, up to about a week. And any other thing, right now, those are the things that could delay the project. Uh, and any project could have surprises, things that we don't expect. We'll get into that. There may be if there's issues with material delivery with everything we've had going on with COVID and with the current situation in the world. We'll take a look at that. Um, we'll go to the next slide here. The overall project cost was 1.9 million. The roadway, you're getting a new road with a heavier duty base. It's built to last. The existing road either didn't have a good base or didn't have any base in some cases. And with that being the case, what we're doing is we're putting in a nice drainage layer underneath the roadway, then building up the asphalt and going to where you'll have a nice product when we're all said and done. Um, as far as communications on the project, there'll be several things that'll occur during the project. You'll have uh, communications that'll be put out by Ante from our public information office through the City of Mentor website. Also, he generally will put up updates in the on Facebook and on Twitter, giving status updates on the project. The other thing you'll see is on this list here is letters. You received the letter in the mail this time from the city in regards to this public meeting. As we go through the project and we go from the storm sewer phase to going into the construction, the roadway replacement phase, another letter will come out that will give you more direction as far as what's going to happen. And this is a question I know that comes up a lot on the projects. Well, am I going to be able to get into my driveway? What's going to happen? Where can I park? And those type of questions are things that we'll see. The letter will address a portion of that. But as we go through, the contractor will remove the asphalt surface of the roadway, reconstruct the base of the roadway, put that together, and then get it set to the proper grade. And then at that time, there will be a point where residents on one side of the street will be out of their drives. And that'll be for when they pour the curbing. And while the curbing is curing, they also then do the drive apron replacement. You'll be out of your drive and you'll be able to park on the non-hydrant side of the street uh, during that phase of construction, other than the day that they actually pour the concrete for the curbing, where you'll need to park on one of the adjacent streets. Following doing that on one side, but we'll flip over and do the same thing on the other side. What we've seen on other streets is residents during this process, if they didn't want to park their car on the street, sometimes we'll get with their neighbor across the way and say, hey, can I park in your driveway while they do this thing? And residents that's up to them if they'd like to talk to a neighbor and work that out, and then return the favor when it happens for the other side. So that's one of the things that I've seen people do. Um, when we get to the asphalt paving, there'll be approximately 2 days where there'll be a situation where you will not be able to park on the street. The first day, they'll excavate everything out, get it all set to the final grade of the street, and then the next day they'll come in and they'll put the asphalt base material in. And when they do that paving of the asphalt base material, that morning you won't be able to be on the street. However, later that day, um, after the paving has occurred, there'll be a bump to get into your drives, but you should be able to get into your drive at that point. And then that'll be followed up then with the final surface of the roadway being put on, restoration being done, and the project being concluded. That's generally kind of the rundown of the project and kind of how we go about looking at everything here. I'm going to stop sharing the screen right now, and I'm going to give Dave Swigger, our city engineer, a chance to say a few words if he'd like here.
Oh, thank you very much, Alan. Just like to thank everybody for joining the meeting tonight. I think you'll find that the project team that we have here is a very professional and courteous group of people. We've had basically the same team together since we started this process about 5 years ago. There's been once we complete the work this year, there'll be about a $12 million investment in road reconstruction and in sanitary sewer repairs in the neighborhood. As Alan mentioned, we will have completed approximately, well, actually 11 streets this year when we're done. 5 of those streets were complete reconstructions, and that's what Brooksdale Road is, a complete reconstruction. The other 6 are resurfacing and curb repair. So as I mentioned, about $12 million in infrastructure investment. The city's invested approximately $7.5 million. The county has got about $2 million in the project, and we've secured about $2.5 million in grants for the project. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Alan, and thanks again for joining the meeting.
Thank you very much. And at this point, Eric, I'll give you a chance to speak, and then we'll let Andy follow up after you. Oh, let me unmute you here, Eric. We can't hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody that joined the meeting and took the time out of their evening to get some information about our upcoming projects. Alan did a pretty good job of explaining what the project involves and what to expect. Just to provide a couple of technical details, we'll be replacing 8 inches of aggregate base, which is a stone base under the road, and a total of 6 inches of asphalt over the top of that. So you'll have a very robust, lasting road. This is not a cheap fix for the city, and the residents can expect a nice, smooth service for years to come. With that, we'll be installing full-length under drains for the road, and drainage is really kind of the underlying issue in this neighborhood where the roads didn't really have good drainage. And we're addressing that with this project as well. Along with the under drains, we'll be replacing all of the storm inlet structures along the curb line, along with new curbs and new drive aprons. So much like some of the other streets in the neighborhood that have had the full reconstruction treatment, you can expect the same look from this street when we're all said and done. Now, all that work does not come without some level of inconvenience. We know it's going to be a hassle with the construction happening on your street and right in front of your homes. We ask that you be patient and bear with us, and please feel free to reach out to us. If you've got special needs or know of a neighbor that has special needs, such as different abilities, wheelchairs, walkers, oxygen deliveries, let us know that, because we can accommodate those things during the course of construction. So if you or a neighbor has some special needs that need to be met, please don't be shy about reaching out and letting us know.
Okay, Andy, do you have any? You're gonna have to unmute yourself, but do you have anything you want to add?
Not from a technical standpoint, but just to add that we will have on-site inspection out there full-time as construction is happening. So if you see our guy out there from CT, feel free to go up to him if you need something, or feel free to reach out to me or to Eric or to Alan. My number was on the residence letter. So like Eric said, just don't be shy to reach out if you need anything.
Thank you. And now we'll give our contractor, Leon Tan from JTO Incorporated, a chance to speak. Leon, you're going to have to unmute yourself. I'm not able to unmute you.
Okay, I'm on the line. So we are planning to move in on the first week of April. We'll probably just moving in all our equipment, our traffic control, get all the stuff set up. But probably the week of I think the first week of April is April 4th or 5th. So we'll probably be actually starting construction on the week after that, basically. So, and I'm planning to start with the sanitary sewer. So we will probably, and the residents should know that we don't work all three sections of the road at the same time. We'll be starting on the south, going north, and we will not be on the north side for a couple of weeks, maybe, or more. So don't expect us to be on the street or, on your section of the road all the time. We will start from the south and work north, and we will, when we finish the sanitary work, we will start the storm sewer same way, maybe from the north going south. But whichever way we do, we may not be on your section of the road when you don't see us. We are still working somewhere on that road. So okay, that's it. So. And
Thank
Dennis will be on the job, and if we have any problems, I will hear about it. So if you guys got any concerns, he'll tell me about it. Okay, thanks, Alan.
Okay. Thank you, Leon. Now I see that Christopher has his hand raised. Christopher, if you would like to unmute yourself, you can go ahead and ask a question. I was going to just have everybody place it in chat, but feel free to ask your question.
Can you explain a little more about what you're doing with the sanitary sewer? Did you say we're spot fixing that, or is that going to be a total?
Yes. The county chose not to do a complete replacement of the sanitary sewer. They're doing point repairs on the sanitary sewer, and then they, I believe, are doing a sanitary sewer lining, which is where they place a epoxy membrane inside the existing line and steam cure it to the outside of the pipe to eliminate some of the water infiltration into the sanitary sewers.
That's my big concern. We've had an issue here. The sewer backed up into the house a few years back. They came out maybe 2 years ago and did a repair, but there's a big dip in the road. Are they going to look at any of those repairs that they've done and upgrade them if they need? Is a big concern for me.
They actually have looked at the overall sewer. The county did a videotaping of their sewer, and they determined from that where they needed to do their repairs. So I have determined
we
that.
can find that information.
All I have is on a set of plans some locations. The county actually is partnering with us on the job, Lake County Department of Utilities. Anything specific in relation to the sewers, I might have to refer you to Lake County Department of Utilities and Dennis Yurkovich over there. Yes, Mr. Gooding.
First of all, thank you very much can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for doing this. I think it's very important. My brother and I, this is my brother Bill Gooding, we both live on the north end of Brooksdale Road, north of Lake Overlook. And my question is there going to be no effort to deal with the road there? And we're just kind of excluded because we're north of Lake Overlook?
I mean, we too have storm sewers and sanitary sewers that are older.
And no curbing.
And would very much like to have curbing on our little leg of the road as well. Has any thought been given to dealing with us as well?
I would have to say, unfortunately, currently, your section street is not included in this project.
I
Um,
guess because we don't pay enough in taxes.
Well, I'm not here to argue.
I'm surprised. Why would you exclude that? You're doing the Brooksdale Road and you exclude 7 houses at the north end of Brooksdale Road. I'm just curious. Can you explain that?
At this time, we looked at the general area between Lake Overlook and the southern end there, and determined that was the area that needed the fix that we're dealing with at this time. Now, your section of the street, we did a number of years ago. We did a asphalt overlay on that section of the
Yeah.
street, and that's similar to what, as far as the sanitary goes, that is something that would be determined by Lake County Department of Utilities as to when they do any sanitary work. We don't have a say so as a city in that work going on. In regards
My
to the,
concern really is more with the road base and the curbing and the aprons, none of which we're getting.
well, you're correct. The aprons technically are the responsibility of the property owners for maintenance and for replacement. We are doing this on this job because we are doing some reprofiling and regrading of this roadway,
Okay.
and that's why they're getting the aprons replaced. When we do Forest and Woodridge, they are not getting aprons replaced. There's just going to be some curb repair and an overlay, and that's generally how we address streets, and that would be the case with the northern section of Brooksdale.
By the way, we don't have any curbing or
Yeah,
any.
yeah, yours is just
But the curbing, there's no curbing. There's no
right,
curbing.
right. Yours just sheet flows into the tree lawns, and
Yeah. Yeah.
goes there.
That's my concern. So,
Is there any kind of an appeal process to have them consider our leg of the road?
Dave, do you want to add anything to this?
I mean, basically, I guess this is the first time I've heard a request for an appeal process, so I have to get back with you on that. But we basically approach every street as an independent review. When we reviewed your street, we didn't feel that a complete replacement was necessary, or the addition of curbs. If we were to add something like adding curbs or adding sidewalks or something like that, there's a process that can be followed, which is an assessment process. But I don't think the area the area north of Lake Overlook is just in the same condition as the rest of the road. I mean, that's why we handled it in a different way.
well, certainly our curbs are not in trouble because they don't exist.
They don't
We don't have
exist. I mean,
curbs.
we have many streets in the city without curbs, and we don't install curbs, just to install them. So that would be unique for us to add curbs to a street without a reconstruction.
Well, my larger concern is the sanitary sewer. Over the years, I've had a lot of issues with sewer backup. And I was in the program where we had those backflow preventers. That has helped, but there is an issue on that leg of Brooksdale Road with sewer backups.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you shared that with the county in the past, so if they're aware of that. They typically are aware of where their problems are, and it's why they focused their attention on these streets, because they did have some issues in the past. But they have, they've changed their approach. This is a spot repair type of approach, which would indicate they don't have as many problems on your street from a condition standpoint. But we could share those concerns with the county. And that would be our goal tonight, to really take your information, pass that along to the county, see if they have any other concerns. But they basically approach this as a spot repair for the sanitary sewer.
Well, again, Dave, I feel like we're part of Brooksdale Road, and for some reason we're being excluded from this improvement. And I'd just like to understand why. Maybe a lack of complaints, but and I'll be happy to come and sit down and talk to you when I get back in town.
Yeah, that would be fine. as we mentioned, I mean, we have taken different approaches for depending on the street.
Mhm.
For the city's standpoint, it's been the condition of the pavement and the curbing, if you have curbs, but you can obviously see what's going on with those curbs up there. So we've redesigned those, and we don't expect to have those types of issues in the future on the streets we're reconstructing. But 6 of these streets we're resurfacing, and we're only replacing curbs where they're failed.
Okay,
So, and that's been our approach. When we first went into this, we expected to possibly have to reconstruct every street up there, and we expected to spend about $20 million and take about 10 years. But I mean, we're able to salvage some streets and save, $8 million. So the idea was to save some money, to accelerate the project and finish up and have a good result. And I think we're able to do that, but it wasn't a one size fits all for every street.
Okay,
I appreciate your comments.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Gooding. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Ms. Jagger now. If you would unmute yourself and ask your question, I'd be happy to try to help you.
Yes, I'm the second house that's off of Maiden, and when they redid the road, it seems like they had raised up the middle access. So there is no sewer storm drain on the corner of Maiden and Brooksdale. The next sewer drain is like 6 houses down. So what's happening is when we have the heavy rainstorm, because they raised up Maiden, it runs down so much that we have so much water drainage there. Do they have a contingent to put a sewer line on the corner there? Because there is nothing. There's one on the opposite road, on the opposite of Maiden, and on the other side. There's one in the corner, but not on our side. And so when it rains, it pours down our road.
Bear with me. I'm going to go to the plan sheet here just to see what's
Okay.
hauled out in that area here. That's garden.
Especially during the winter time, I had so much ice build up at the end of my driveway that I had to go out and shovel the plow snow to get it to drain so that it wouldn't ice over. It was bad.
Yeah, you're the house actually on Maiden, correct?
No, I'm on Brooksdale. I'm the
You're on
second
Brooksdale?
house in Brooksdale. So there's an empty lot. There's my neighbor's house, and I'm the second one in off of Maiden and Brooksdale going, believe it's south.
Okay. Okay, bear with me here. I was looking for the wrong page here. I apologize. Okay, so you're actually south. You're more towards Garden than you are towards Lake Overlook.
Middle section, but
Yeah.
when I walk, no storm drain in the corner of the road on the middle section. Like I said, the next one down is about 5 houses down towards the middle, and that's the only storm drain on this middle section coming from that end.
Yeah, and right now the plan that I'm looking at here shows that inlet basin as being the first one. With the reprofiling they do of the road, the water should drain to that inlet basin.
Okay, but they're not going to install another
Not
drain.
From what I'm seeing, not from what I'm seeing on the set of plans I have here.
Okay, that's what I was asking about, because it kind of almost needs it since there's so much drainage going down the corner into the middle of this, because we're in the middle section, we get all the rain coming from both sides.
Yeah, they just have right around that same spot. There's an inlet basin on each side of the street. They're reprofiling the road to drain down to those basins. So
Okay, all right, thanks.
You shouldn't have any water buildup or anything like that when the project's set.
Okay, definitely during winter time it sucks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and I think the only person that we have not heard from is Brian. Brian, do you have any questions or concerns? You'll have to unmute yourself if you do. I'm unable to unmute you.
No, not at all.
Okay. With that, are there any other questions before we move on?
Yeah, just to harp on my issue again, I believe Mr. Schweiger mentioned sharing the sanitary sewer concerns with the county.
Yes.
Is that something you guys are planning to do then?
Yes, and they are going to be involved with the project. They will have an inspector out there when the sanitary work's going on. So they have personnel that will be on site as well in regards to the project.
I just wanted to mention, Al, do we have his address that we could share with Dennis? We could just send that over, at least to start the conversation, or a telephone number, anything you can give us will help us.
Drop it in the chat.
Okay.
And actually, Christopher, if you'd like, you can email me here at City Hall with your information and your concern. My email is just my last name, Pennington, PENNINGTON, at cityofmentor.com. Feel free to email that information to me. My emails, I check them on a regular basis, and I'll get that information from you, and we'll pass it on to Lake County Department of Utilities with Dennis Yurkovich over there at the county.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Last time I'm going to bother you.
It's not a bother. I'm here to work with this project, work with you all, and make sure that everything is addressed as best we can. We know there's going to be pain during the project. There has been on all the projects. We try to minimize it though, and that's.
I'm not worried about the project at all. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm just worried about the sanitary sewer.
Okay.
Had 6 inches of really nasty water in my basement. It's not enjoyable.
I can understand that. So yeah, they'll with the relining, with the if where there may be a point of issue. What if you could just give me your address? I can see if they've got a point repair somewhere near that location.
I'm at 4912. The actual dip is about 2 houses south.
Okay,
You can't miss
4912.
it.
That's the is that the south end or is that the north end? I'm trying to
Center,
center. Okay.
pretty much dead center. The dip is about 2 houses south of me. You can't miss it if you drive down the road. It's significant dip.
These plans are too tiny for me to see addresses. I apologize here, guys.
I could yell out the window if that helps.
It's on sheet 9, Alan.
Sheet 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't appear any sanitary work is scheduled for that, but it's something I could bring up to the county when talk to them.
You say it's just north of you where the problem is?
Just south,
It's just south.
about 2 houses down.
Okay, I'm seeing some stuff just north of you, but we'll bring like you say, shoot me your information in the email, and I'll get that over to Lake County Department of Utilities to look into.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. With that, are there any other questions? Okay, not hearing any, I will say thank you to everyone for attending. Again, feel free to contact me here at the City of Mentor Engineers Office. My direct dial line here is 440-974-5786. During normal working hours, I will try to answer your question or address your concern as quickly as I can on the projects. Thank you again for everybody, and we look forward to working with you on the project.